Good day, brothers and sisters of the hook. I'm going to narrate this a little bit, not too much. Um, what you see here is just about all you're going to see. Red snapper, vermilion snapper, lane snapper, the occasional other kind of fish, maybe a shark. You never know. You just keep watching. But in the background there, mostly in the foreground here, are grunts, also called tomtate grunts, or what we call ruby lips, because they have a bright red mouth when you open it up. That in the background right there, that's a nice big red snapper. Another red snapper. I'm close to culverts, but not in the culverts. That's why we don't see any mangrove snapper or some of these other kind of fish that are around here that live mostly in the culvert area. In black sea bass, they also like mangrove snapper. They also like cover, so they're back there in the culvert area more so than out here in the open area. Also, I'm trying to limit the snaps and pops in this video when I'm narrating it. I've just got a cheap old crummy microphone on a webcam that I've had for years and years and years. Uh, don't have a good microphone, so that's just the way it is right now. Getting ready to come into view right there is a vermilion snapper, also known as a beeliner. Good eating, good eating. Okay, you see there's a grunt that's picking up some sand in his mouth there. That red snapper's right next to him there. And see, he's filtering it through his gills. Like he's picking out, and I think you'll see him as he's coming up here, sand coming out of his gills. There's a couple of spots, and there's another one. There's a couple of areas in this video where you'll see them come almost right at the camera, and the sand is coming out of their gill plates. Really, really cool. Learn something new every time. Every time. Hello, Mr. Red Snapper. Getting ready to come into view right now is a nice lane snapper, one of John's favorites. And here comes another school of those cigar minnows or scale sardines. I'm not real sure, but that's bait. That's a lot of incredibly good bait. I need to take out smaller sabikis real tiny flies and catch some of these live and throw them out the back for passing cobia, kings, mackerel. Just about anything loves to eat that little bait. Water clarity is incredible because last week it was just, you couldn't, it was like snow, looking through a snowstorm. And I understand that just a couple days later after I did this one, actually one day later, that it got all cloudy. So I'm glad I was out this day. Even though it's incredibly rough on the surface, we were banging up and down. Look at that on the bottom. I mean, it is just so calm and peaceful down there and silent to us. But I got a feeling these fish can hear other fish just swimming through the water. Now look at that grunt there on the bottom. He just took a mouthful of sand and he's filtering it out. Look at that. Isn't that the coolest thing? That's where they get their food from. And that's what all these little pock marks are in these ripples and riblets of sand on the bottom. That's from these grunts. Look at that lane snapper there. Now getting ready to come into view is a red snapper with the spot on his back right about where a tag would have been. Looks like somebody caught this red snapper and cut the tag off because that's right where the tags go. And there's a lane snapper following him. Now there's a couple of these guys with these black tails and lighter colored bodies that may not be grunts. I don't know what they are. If somebody knows what they are, they can tell me. But I'm going to call them a grunt. I've upped the contrast so it'll make the tail look darker. It's another shot of a different view. Here comes a nurse shark. Nice big girl, nice and slow. Kind of glad we didn't catch her. Woohoo! That would have been a fight. Sadly, no cobia. We're following her. All right, I'm dropping it down another spot. That's a nice big trigger, I can tell. I'd say that's about a 16-incher, maybe 17 or 18-incher. That's a big one. The littler ones are a little more round. This guy's kind of long. Different spot. Some vermilion in the background. Red snapper. Lots of grunts. Lots of grunts. Grunts, 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 grunts. And further up in the water column where the camera is not looking is where the triggerfish and the vermilion like to lurk more so than on the bottom. And I caught quite a few undersized vermilion snapper. John caught a couple, but there's a lane snapper. But up above is where the vermilions like to hang out, where the camera's not pointing. The silence is deafening. Getting ready to come into view is a vermilion snapper right there. In the background, just to the right, a little bit in the middle to the right, is a culvert way in the background there. I would say about 70 feet, 75 feet away. And to the left middle of the screen is a lane snapper with a spot on his back. He's now heading away. Look at all that bait in the background. What I need to do is angle my cams up a little bit so that they don't show all of the bottom. Like, I'd rather not have half of the video to be the bottom. I'd rather have the bottom quarter of the video be the bottom and the rest be up above, so we can see up in the column better. And I'm going to try that, I think, for the next time. Red snapper. Alright, I'm getting ready to up the speed to normal speed so that you can see the actual speed that everything happens under the water with these fish. Alright, here comes a lane snapper. Things are moving along pretty fast now. There he is again. I guess he went around in a circle. Looks like something's chasing him. Alright, get ready to drop it down at another spot. See the old Minn Kota trolling motor up there? GPS trolling motor. Going all by itself, keeping that boat right on target, even in those big waves. Going down. Bubbles escaping from somewhere. We're in about 65 to 70 feet of water here. As you saw, it's rough on the surface, but when you get down to the bottom, it's nice and calm. See that culvert in the background? All those fish are gathered in that one spot right there because either John or Salty Kayak has a piece of bait down there and they were just attacking it. Now they're dispersing a little bit. Red snapper, red snapper. Look at all them red snapper. And those are some big ones, folks. Those are some nice big red snapper. Look at all that biodiversity in there. I mean, that's just so much, so many fish. It's just incredible. And you can hear a boat motor. That's a pork fish right there. That was a pork fish, another pork fish, pork fish, pork fish. They're they used to be protected. Used to be called a decorative reef fish, but they took that off of the protected because they don't taste good. Nobody catches them to eat them, so they've taken them off their protection list. Nasty fish. Beautiful to look at, though. You hear that boat motor? Pretty. Oh man, they're so pretty. Look at those red snapper, like 6 of them in the screen at one time. That back there, that one little fish was a pinfish. Had a spot just above his, below his dorsal fin there. There's another pinfish in the background. Lane snapper, dooby-doo. Oh, look at there. Now that, my friend, is some good eating black sea bass. There are several down there, and John caught one of them. So you know we're near culverts, even though you can't see them yet. You can't see them. We are near them, or those black sea bass wouldn't be there. They like to hide in the culverts. Pinfish, black sea bass, 2 black sea bass, red snapper, grunts, black sea bass. That grunt just took a mouthful of sand. There's a nice keeper size. I'm sure that's a keeper size black sea bass. Here comes a sheep's head. Yeah. Another indication that we are near culverts. Lots of bait, lots of bait. And red snapper everywhere, everywhere. Lots of good eating there, folks. Lots of good eating. Now just consider this. Look at all of those fish. Look at all of those fish, and this is in just one small section of this entire reef. The whole reef is like this, and I mean there are, I would say, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of fish out there. keeper fish, edible fish. I've eaten grunts before. Let me tell you something. They're pretty good. Every bit as good as bluegill or sunfish. Okay, that's about enough. We're coming to the end of this video. As you can see, there are just a bazillion fish out there, and the mazillion red snappers. We should be allowed to keep some of them. All right, till next time, folks. God bless y'all. Look at all them red snapper.